I am Leroy Cruz. I am your Life Applications Officer this morning. This would be November 27th, 2022 at 8:30 in the morning here in Pittsburgh. It's funny, but it's disturbing, and it's pointless. But I just, and when I get on here and talk about what I talk about, it's more YouTube than it is anything else. In my real life, I'm not running into Gman. I'm not running into Miss Parker. I'm not running into these loud atheists who think that they have to fight with Christians just because they found out that we're Christians. You know, they found out that we don't support this and we don't support that. So they have to find a way to make us a crime in America, a bigot out of us or whatever, and we can be, heavy in our talk about what we don't believe in, just like people are heavy when they talk about Christians. I mean, it's a loaded gun when they come at Christians. And it's always, ever since I got into YouTube. Now, I got a guy at my job, and he's one of my favorite guys, and we had some issues last night with some things about him that you normally do because you ain't safe. You ain't a Christian. And you normally take some things personal because you're not a Christian. If we're all working on the same team, I'm allowed to tell you to pass the ball to me just like you're allowed to tell me to pass the ball to you. I'm allowed to expect you to play teamwork like I play teamwork. Whether one of us thinks he's smarter than the other person or whatever. The point is, at the end of the day, okay, I made it home without my silliness, okay, making me run into traffic and get ran over by a car. So how silly am I? How silly are my beliefs? Okay? It's a blade against a blade. And I understand that with Gman. Like Gman is a blade. And he thinks that as a Christian, he needs to take his blade and say, hey, let's and see who can stab and see who can get stabbed. No. We're not going to horseplay with blades. What Gman is doing right now behind the screen, I don't even have it X'd out. And again, YouTube sent me this. Him wasting his time with Miss Parker, and for all I know, because it says, when they sent it to me, it says premiering now. So right now, I didn't know that the time changed in New Jersey, or time changed where she's at. They must, because where I'm at, it's 8:32 in the morning. Actually, both of these are at 8:34. So, are they up at 8:34 in the morning having this discussion? And you mean to tell me Miss Parker is that high and that drunk at 8:30 something in the morning? But if I carry a big blade, sword, or a knife, a dagger, the Bible calls it a sword. My sword is not only for love, but it's for self-defense as well. Y'all know that. Miss Parker understands that. G-Man wasting his time with Miss Parker. Okay. And I agree with G-Man is like, are you drunk? Are you high? Oh, I'm high and drunk at the same time. Okay, now you just changed everything. And you are dumb enough, I just want to cuss. You are dumb enough, somebody, to admit that. And think that you can argue with me about everything. Absolutely everything. Maybe I did do that when I first started YouTube. I mean, if these, if the monkey cult, I call y'all, because that's all that comes to my channel. I might have 1 or 2 people on this channel that like me. On my channel that like me. This is what they do. They subscribe to the people that they don't like. Because they think that if you parade all these enemies around this person, you'll do what? First of all, this is social media. This is not real life. Second of all, okay, even if it was real life, so you parade all these enemies around this person to what? How many D-Roys are there on YouTube? How many D-Roys are there on the whole earth? How many D-Roys are there in Pittsburgh, in Pennsylvania, in America? How many G-Mans are there in New Jersey, in America? Don't waste your time, Miss Parker, either. Because this is going nowhere and this argument is stupid. And that's what I want to talk about today. The argument is pointless. There's a point on the blade. But the argument, let's see if we can hook blades. Let's horseplay and see if one of us gets cut. That's what G-Man is doing right now. Or that's what he did today whenever this thing was premiered, okay? That's what he's doing. Gotta make sure, hold up. Okay. Thought so. I don't do that anymore. I don't bet blades against blades, okay? It turns out to be straws against straws when you do that. My blade is right here by my side. My gun, my knife, my whatever you want to call it, is strapped to my side. And there's 2 versions of that knife and that gun. Okay? One is to reach out to those that need help finding the Lord. Bible says the word of God is sharper than any 2-edged sword. Okay? Cutting bone and marrow. Getting into the deepmost parts of the heart. Spiritually, figure of speech. Okay? In other words, it's used to cut you loose from your captivity in this world. But at the same time, it's to contend for the faith. And when I contend for the faith, Let me show you how that works. If I know somebody like Miss Parker to be herself, to be Miss Parker, her YouTube self, and Gman was getting all into it, he was doing what I was doing, which I repent. That's not necessary. I did that because she had the nerve and the audacity, but really though, I don't really care about your strange marriages. G-Man asked Miss Parker, he just out of nowhere just asked her, "Are you a feminist?" And she got mad. What's that got to do with anything? Well, it got everything to do. It got everything to do with a woman. If you're a woman, got everything to do with it. He gonna tell her. She gonna tell him. Whenever you don't never ask a woman how old she is. In that conversation that y'all was having, you can. Because y'all playing swords against swords. Now you want to play Miss Parker, play fair. And stop, and she's obviously a woman because women do that. Women always call it cheating when they feel like they're losing. This is why you don't put men and women up against each other. Because the women, when they lose a point, it's never, it was, I'm going to let you have that. You won that. You won that solid boo-boo. You won that. No, it's not going to be like that. Oh, he cheated. Okay? And then, I don't understand G-Man. Like, G-Man, you okay, man? Like, because he was like, I'm thinking, calm down and talk to the lady. Actually, speaking about, the swords and guns and little daggers and all that, I'm going to let her talk. Because first of all, I'm a man, she's a woman, if she's a woman. Okay, I'm going to let her talk. And I'm going to listen without going, I'm going to try to listen without going to sleep. Okay? Because I'm on her show. You come to my show, I got bad news for you. There's not going to be just one of me there. I'm going to have somebody there that's going to stop me and say, hold up. What did you say about science? Hold up. What did you say about the definitions? That ain't the definition of that. Hold up. That's not science. That's pseudoscience. I'm going to have somebody that's going to stop me. And hey, D, let me cut in here for a second. Let me talk to this woman. Let me talk to this man. Because I'm a Christian. I'm not a scientist. But G-Man, no, Miss Parker asked G-Man, if we're not animals, what are we? And I've done several videos about this. Having nothing to do with Miss Parker. I'm thinking, if another atheist asks me a dumb question like that, I'm going to scream. We're not animals. We're humans. And this is how you know the difference between a scientist and the atheists who try to make a religion out of science. A scientist will never tell you that you're just an animal. He'll never ask you the question, if we're not animals, what are we? We're humans. Did we scratch the word human out of the dictionary? Is there no difference between humans and animals? Well, humans are animals. Okay, but why do we call ourselves humans then? Oh, go ahead. I'll wait. Why do we need to call ourselves humans if you need to bring that up? It's a stupid question. I'll wait. Go ahead. also called humans because we are, and you don't want to agree with this, but we are the chosen species. We are the superior species. We don't walk on our hands. We do art. We make love with our hands. We wash our hands between everything that we do. I'm not going to play with someone's butt and then make me a hamburger. I'm going to wash my hands in between that ordeal. Men meet women, the opposite sex. The opposite sex, Miss Parker, we are not equal. G-Man, please tell her again. We are not equal. She said, how are we not equal? Then G-Man he went on his rant. I'd have laughed at her. He went on his rant. It didn't really make sense about, and you can tell she's drunk because he went on his rant about, well, if I'm in the house and someone knocks on the door, I'm the man who's going to go get the gun and all that. Now she's like, then somehow they start talking about, well, she started flirting with him, basically. She's so drunk. She started saying, oh, you going to be my man? You going to come over here? Come on, I'm waiting, Jim. You know what I mean? I'm like, where is she going with this? He's just trying to explain to you the relations between a man and a woman, which it was kind of a dumb illustration. It should have been, more technical, but then she was like, then all of a sudden she put her husband in the middle of it and all like that. She talked about her husband like he was her servant, her butler in the house or something, and G-Man, women. I can't hear what she's saying, and I can't hear what you're saying because y'all talking over each other. I expect that from her. She drunk and high at the same time. She admitted it. But you, brother, you supposed to be Christian. You supposed to be the better man in this pickle. Okay, better man in this pickle. She couldn't wait to say, this is my channel, but I'll tell you what. I will say that one time. Oh, let me remind you before we start, this is my channel. Ain't going to be no cussing on here. Ain't going to be no name calling. So, you're free to turn off your mic and go, or expect me to just disappear on you if you start talking that smack, okay? Like, just letting you know. You will not talk over me, and I will not talk over you. I'll try not to. And understand that when you ask a question, let one of my people answer it. Don't talk over us. Alright. Enough of that. Right behind the screen is my YouTube channel. And as soon as I took a cat nap and got up, I've seen it. I'm like, is he really having a debate with her? Is he really speaking live with her? And the first thing I thought is, man, you dumb. And I figure she would have enough respect for G-Man as a man of God to put away her alcohol and her drugs for this one little meeting. Couldn't do that. She couldn't do that. And you can tell, he's like, are you drunk and high? And she's like, you know. There's two people I won't argue with. Just like last night. There's two people I won't argue with. First of all, people that have no respect for the room. Have no respect for the presence. My presence being different than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's say I'm arguing with my neighbor and I'm giving him a chance to talk. I'm not going to get up in his face and be, yeah, go ahead and say it. Go ahead. Go ahead. You know, I'm not going to overtalk him and all like that. But I won't listen to people who think that they know the answer before I open up my mouth. I won't argue with people who really don't want me to give an answer. They just want me to be there so they can abuse me in some kind of way. They can shut me down. And your goal is not to hear me say anything or explain anything that will break the ice or make things better. Your goal is to shut me down because you feel it triggers something in you. You're already triggered. This is why I'm very careful who I contend with. You're already triggered by me just being who I or somebody else has presented me to be. Just like, for example, I had to tell this guy last night, this is the presentation. What book or news channel are you reading? I'm telling you what the true presentation is. It's not that complicated. I'll say this 100 times in every video. It's not that complicated, bruh. You make it complicated because you want to shut it down. You're trying to find a route in there. This might be the one thing, bruh, you don't know. This might be the one piece of information that you weren't taught in school. This might be the one thing that all of us can sit down and talk about that has been covered up. And it only takes one person to pull the blanket off this thing. But you get triggered. And you don't want to listen because you know you're not putting in the time to really do your research on this stuff. I saw this Gen X video last night. And I didn't know I don't think he's a Christian. All that cussing he does on his little channel, he can't be a Christian. But even as a non-Christian, he told his son, and his son's, him and his son are doing these videos together. His sons were not really making fun of his dad. His son is letting dad be dad and letting dad raise him even in this crazy world, and I really appreciate that. He's raising his son in this crazy world to continue to understand some things don't change. Unless God is dead, unless God is changing, some things don't change. Morals don't change. I told this brother this last night. Morals don't change. The guy had nothing to do. Okay, so there's more people in the world today that don't practice protection of women's virginity and protection of their daughters with the boyfriends. Women, it's all about women making choices at a very young age that destroy them, and you sitting back like a dumb behind watching this and blaming the women for it. When some of these women ain't old enough to be called women yet. Okay? But they're having sex. And what do we do as parents today? We hand out condoms. Or tell them how to go buy, give them some money to go buy condoms, or beg them not to get pregnant. And then if they get pregnant, what are we supposed to do? I guess I'll have to let her get an abortion. No, bruh. The the women don't change morals. Women don't change the code. The code is still the code. And if the code don't work, okay, that's a problem. But the code works for me. I will be single. I'm old enough now to just forget about it and never ever think about it again because I'm old, okay? But if I'm ever going to lay down with a woman again, I told him I'm going by the code. And the code is not, oh, let me accept everything that you are that you never repented of. But as long as there's one thing that we can get along about, then we can be together. No. Is there not more divorce today in every culture than there ever was before? Is there not more domestic violence in every culture, even the smallest, that went through this stuff? Even overseas in the most, oh, well, you can go over to this country and you can go over to that country and find a good, loving wife. Anybody that is able to just tell the world that they're Christians, I says, I got a bunch of, me, and I says, oh, you talking about the, because I told him, I watch too much YouTube, brother. You need to watch what you say because they got video footage. They got video libraries on all the stuff you talking. You trying to get me to be a passport, bruh. I said I already did a video about that last night. You trying to get me to be a passport, bro, or something, bro? I'm not going to run overseas in 2022. That might have been good 5 or 10 years ago. But I'm not going to run overseas and just hook up with some girl because she got on Facebook and said that she's Christian. And this is where he got pissed. I said Christianity is a big word. I keep saying this over and over again. Y'all know on my YouTube channels, all of them. Christianity is a big word. Only a little point of that is really Christian. Catholics are not Christians. Mormons are not Christians. Jehovah's Witnesses are not Christians. Hebrew Israelites are not Christians. Okay? Spiritists are not Christians. Religious people are not Christians. There's only one thing that's Christian. And I says, when you tell me some woman is over there in an Asian country under Christian persecution for her faith, someone like that would be more closer to being called my brothers and my sisters. That's my family. Not these people that are able to get online because they want to get a date and call themselves Christians in a country that's 95% Muslim. In a country that's totally pagan. Somehow you pull Christianity out of the hat. No. Brother, no. This is why I'm single. It's very hard for somebody like me. Not only because, I'm not exactly the specimen I used to be, but it's very hard for somebody like me to connect with a woman who is morally, whose moral value is intact enough for us to really have a fluid, mature Christian, spiritual, Jesus-loving, God-fearing relationship. It's not easy. But the code, my bro. And the code makes it hard because I could go out there and I could be this kind of Christian. She could be this kind of Christian. Okay? And then, sex was good while we were having sex. And then, I had to argue about why is my wife out there fighting for women's rights? Like, I don't give her rights at home. Like, why is she out there fighting? Why is my wife want to abort my baby? Or why is my wife agreeing with her daughter to get an abortion? Like, this is the kind of stuff that happens when you go outside the code. Now, they went from that to, why is my wife cheating on me? Why is my wife want to be a man all of a sudden? This is 2022. No, bro. I'm going to stay with the code. Because the code tells me that my wife ain't going to come in here shaking your hand, talking about we getting ready to get married with her breasts out. And you looking at everything except the nipples. That's the only thing that's covered up. You looking at her chest and saying, yeah, I'm so glad y'all seem like a nice couple. No, I'm staying with the code. The code automatically tells my wife, you better not walk in here, or my fiance, you better not waltz up in here like that, or there ain't gonna be no wedding. The code automatically tells my wife, either you're in or you're out. Are you really a Christian? Because this ain't between me and you, sweetheart. This is between you and God. Are you really a Christian? Or am I the only one in this pickle that's a Christian? That's really a Christian? I don't need to argue with someone that needs to drink and smoke every time she does a video. She can't live without it. I guess she needs to drink and smoke to sleep with her husband too, if he's a biological male. Because see, you go through YouTube, you look at a lot of the Christian creators that do videos, they either show enough footage of their wives and children as they protect their address where they live at and all like that, but they go on vacations and they show their wives and their children, if not on video, on photo. They show their wives and their children wishing you a happy holidays, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And they talk about their wives constantly. And I mean, look at Brandon Tatum, for example. I don't know if Brandon Tatum is born again. He might be a churchgoer, but I don't know if he's born again. He might love Jesus, but I don't know if he's born again. There's some things there that are controversial, but him and his wife just did this recent election together. They did it together. And had me scared there. Him and his wife did their recent election together. And him and his wife agree on everything. And Brandon Tatum, him and his wife got together and they talked about their relationship one day on YouTube, and they talked about the things that they agree with and the things that they disagree. They talk about the things that are differences, but I'm the kind of person, and I was taught this in church, but I guess I'm rebelling against it. I don't believe in irreconcilable differences. If a difference is irreconcilable, let me know exactly what that difference is. Okay? If a woman, now one thing that could be an irreconcilable difference that a man can let go is whether he wants his woman wearing a weave or not. I know I don't. But if a woman is really, really that much of a Christian and she needs to wear a weave, that could be an irreconcilable difference that I could let go. But whether or not you're going to go to the disco and shake your thing That's not. We're not doing that. And I know a guy who went through that. He never left his wife, or his wife left him. And he would come to work and he would say, "You got this, bro? I got to go find my wife." And when I would tell him, "So your wife's not saying, oh, my wife is saved. She's a born again Christian. She's just going through some things, man. All right, she's just going through some things. Okay, she does drugs like Miss Parker. She talks like Miss Parker. She goes to the disco and shakes her fan with other men. You don't want to be there. You trust that she's not cheating on you." Brother, you need to get your house in order. But he couldn't. Because every time he wants to sit her down and get his house in order, you know, the Miss Parker thing. You know. So he would just leave her alone and keep telling people, this is the will of God, and I'm going to just let her alone and let God work with her heart and all like that. Where's your wife right now? Oh, she's probably out dancing somewhere. She went out of here in that dress. Okay. She finally left him. Not because she didn't need to cheat on him. He's letting her do everything else. Why don't you just leave him? You know. Now, if he had stood up and threatened to divorce her a long time ago, maybe she would have got herself together. I don't know. But they're not together today. Nobody cheated on anybody. She just left him. Okay? Now, according to denomination, and that's not Christian either. That's just like, you know, those are buildings and putting, you know, you got to be careful what kind of spirit you put in these buildings. But according to denomination, depending on what denomination he was in, he probably felt freedom because she left him. And now he can be married to whoever he wants to be married to because she left him. He didn't leave her. And I mean, you don't really need to know. I mean, he hung it out there, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I mean, my wife didn't do a quarter of what his wife was doing, but she was ungodly emotionally about too many things that I couldn't handle. And you can't only love your husband in the bedroom and don't love him anywhere else. Your husband is doing everything you say and do like you're wearing the pants in this family. And then you turn around and you want to give him more? Now you want to make a slave out of me. Like, hold up. And then I got up on my thing in between my legs. I said, hold up a minute. Hold up! And that's when all hell broke loose. When I decided to stand up. Didn't I tell you that I was a Christian when we got married? Did I not take this family to church every Sunday? Did I not have devotions with my family and read the Bible to this family? Did we not go to marriage seminars over this within 4 states? Okay? Go to marriage seminars and sit there and under the counselor. Did the counselor not tell you? And me. Most of the time it was me. One time it was you and you couldn't handle it. It was you the whole time. But she didn't want to hurt your feelings. And now you want to put the whole, you want to bring the whole thing down. No, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. You want to make me think that I'm packing slaves up here in the projects, like a typical atheist. You trying to make me live this out, like I'm holding my family hostage up here. I'm leaving. Let's see who's the hostage now. I'm leaving. Ain't nobody holding nobody hostage, because ain't no man there with your feminist behind. Ain't no man there to hold nobody hostage. How about that? And my kids never felt one time in their whole entire life that I was ever keeping them from having fun, or ever keeping them from participating in things that are important in their life. None of them. Not a single one. So I'm going to let science, what did I just say? I'm going to let science determine whether I should leave or not. All right. Enough of that. Let me get back to my brother last night. Christianity is a big word. And I tell atheists, they get pissed when I tell them this, but I ask them this, but when they say Christianity, well, you know, your faith tells you, though. Since when? Well, you know, you believe. You want to tell me what I believe? Oh, you talking about Catholicism. Oh, buddy, my homie, that's not Christian. What? What? I'm sorry, bro, that's not Christian. That's an Italian Greek mythological religion. That's not Christian. We don't worship metaphors. We worship what really happened. And we don't connect that with Egyptian religion and mythology and all like that. We believe in the literal history of the Son of God. And what that means, what his death, burial, and resurrection means for us as people in 2022, bruh. No metaphors. We don't need to put a dummy that looks like a white Jesus in a casket to celebrate Easter. We don't need to celebrate the Virgin Mother. She's not a virgin anymore. She's not a virgin anymore. She's not the Blessed Virgin anymore. She slept. She actually did. She was a virgin when she had the baby Jesus, but she slept with Joseph. Hello, my Catholic buddies. She slept with Joseph and had more biological children. She's not the Blessed Mother. Why are we worshiping the Blessed Mother? She didn't marry God. And she's not the mother of God. That's another thing that proves the Trinity. They say in some Catholic versions, they say that Mary is the mother of God. No, yeah, Jesus is God, the second of the Trinity. But the God that was looking down, that orchestrated this whole virgin birth, the Holy Spirit went into Mary and she conceived and bore Jesus. Okay, that was the first of the Trinity. Jesus is the second. Okay? How is she the mother of God? That's like if I was dumb enough to believe that God actually had sex with Mary, that would be like saying, oh, well, you know, your husband, you are now the mother of your husband or your lover because of you having his deity. Huh? There is no blessed mother. She was blessed in those verses of the Bible where she was the blessed mother. When Jesus died on the cross for her sins, she was no longer the blessed mother. She was the blessed mother when she was a virgin carrying a child that nobody ever slept with her in order to get her pregnant. Not God, not Jesus, not Joseph, nobody. Joseph was like, whoa, who is he? Oh, you got a bubble there. You cheating on me? What's going on? Even Joseph understood the hand of God. How many pagans out there will say that, even Catholics, will say that God slept with Mary? They got movies out there, Mary with her legs open, laying on her back, having an orgasm, while some entity is banging her. Y'all atheists eat this stuff up. Y'all love this stuff. Y'all love this stuff. But it didn't happen. Didn't happen. When we say that there's a real God out there, in order for God to put a baby in a woman, he shouldn't have to use sperm. And he shouldn't have to sleep with her to do it. Just like he didn't have to go through science, okay, to take anybody out of here. People just die. You don't have to die by something falling on your head or getting hit by a car or cancer taking over, or diabetes taking over, sickness and disease or genetics or anything. You just, the actor died and we're still investigating what could have been the symptoms, and we have new exciting news on the death of so-and-so. She died from eating Skittles. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Skittles. The last thing she ate before she died was Skittles. She choked on the Skittles. And she went into a deep sleep and she was found dead. Science tells us that she lived for about an hour, choking on Skittles. And a news anchor said, is there any way that you can tell us the evidence of how she choked on Skittles? Well, we saw rolled up in a garbage can. It must have been in there. No one took the garbage out. So we went through her garbage later on and we found the bag of Skittles. And we saw, we put under the microscope what seemed to appear as blood inside the bag of Skittles. Just a dot. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Moving on to the weather. You can't make this up, but you can't overlook it. Anything that God does is huge. And I thank God, in closing, I thank God every day. I'm going to talk about, in closing, let me say one more thing. We are what we are. And my Jewish friend at work, I think he doesn't want to really identify who he is in the Jewish community because he's afraid that I'll hang him. And he said something to me yesterday out of the last breath after he got done telling me I don't need to preach. He told me, he said, well, I'm a Jew, I don't need to worry about it. And I looked at him and I says, real Jews worry about it. They might not argue about it as much as you do, but they do worry about it. Because they know that one of the biggest difference between us, and they want evidence for it. We believe that our Messiah has already come, and those that believe in him shall have eternal life. They believe they're still waiting on their Messiah. If you're a Jew, you should know that. You should know that. That's the ABCs of Judaism. That's the ABCs of controversy between Christianity and Judaism. They're still waiting on their Messiah. We worship our Messiah every day, all day long. Okay? So much history in the Bible. I love this Gen X guy because he gave his son a history of the Bible. Whether he's Christian or not, all that cussing he does on his show, I doubt it. But I appreciate a man that would mention the Bible in its truth in 2022. And all these people, I love to look at a comment section and find out that people are waking up. Sometimes it takes someone from the other side. You know what I mean? Sometimes it takes your enemy to be the only survivor in this war, to come back and tell you the truth. Sometimes it takes, the lost artifacts to question everything. Like my man Trey Smith. If you're not into Trey Smith, you're dumb. If you scientists educate, if you science freaks, atheists who think that science is your religion, that you can prove everything right or wrong, spiritually and physically by science, you should be looking at Trey Smith. You should be asking Trey Smith, Miss Parker, which she might as well just miss, she don't know much about science, but Miss Parker should be asking, Trey Smith to come on her show. All you people to come to my channel and say, I don't think Leroy knows anything about science, but Trey Smith does. And I listen to a lot of Trey Smith. I don't understand what the heck he's talking about. But at the end of it, he did a video. I'll talk about it in the next video. He did a video the other day. I think it's brand new. I watched it. He did this video where he talked about evolution. Oh my God. And he went to saying, talking about dating. And he went to talking about how there's no evidence for so many different things. And he went to talking about what they use as evidence and why people suck this stuff up. Why it's better to believe that we just happened instead of actually were created by a God. Because see, like my friend last night, you know what everybody hates? Everybody hates the fact that there's one. That's why I changed the channel of this video to Area of One. Because there is one. And the three make one. Okay? And the area around the three being in the middle and at the top, are all one. We are one. And I told this guy this last night. We are one with God. He looked at me like, can't nobody be one with God? Yes, we can. I don't have my Bible sitting here with me. Yes, we can. And that is the controversy. Nobody is doing that. The group that does that are the people of God, regardless of, whether you want to call us bigots because we don't support this, we don't support that. We only believe in one church denomination. We only believe this and we only believe that. We don't believe this, we don't believe that. And there's already millions and billions of dollars invested into science and evolution, and there's already billions and billions of dollars invested into this whole transgender thing, and all these people and all these genders and all these things to what? Come out while I'm sitting here doing this video and calling it a hoax. Because it is. Your love for whoever that you love that ain't biblically sound is a hoax. Your libido is a hoax if it's not biblically sound. Your science is a hoax if it's not biblically sound. These wars and battles and all the stuff that we're out here fighting, getting on the street and protest. Let me tell you something. People to go out on the street to protest are a separate class of people, whether they be Republican, Democrat, or whatever. That's you. That's your crap. As much as I want to tell the whole world about Jesus, I'm not going to pull Jesus out of the hat in the middle of a fight. Gman. I'm not going to play fake swords with somebody and see if anybody gets stabbed. When I take my sword out, you just got cut really bad. I run. Because it stays right here until I feel I need to pull it out. That's why I don't go to talk to some broad, okay, that's living this fake life, who thinks she can drink and smoke her way out of everything, even while she wants to argue with you about your Christianity and your education of science. But she don't think she's a human. She thinks she's an animal. No wonder you can think you can just drink and smoke your life away, Miss Parker. The average ape is smarter than your dumb behind. You don't see no ape as smart as they are unless some guy in a science lab teaches them how to do it. Put a cigarette up and light it. Put some weed up to their mouth and light it. In an animal world, I no wonder you think you're an animal, because in an animal world, they're smarter than that. But you, get out my face. Gman, stop wasting. You felt that this woman is so huge, you just had to have this dialogue with her. It's not a dialogue. You want to find that out. When he does the aftermath and he goes to talking to his subscribers after his interview with Ms. Parker, or vice versa, her interview with them, guess what? He's going to talk about, oh, I screwed up. I shouldn't have did that dialogue. That wasn't a dialogue at all. That was just a mess. Yeah. I haven't watched the whole video. I only watched 20 minutes of it. God bless you. I am D-Roy Cruz. I am your life applications officer. Another long one. I thought it would be short, but that's why I call it good rambling, because I just find more and more stuff to talk about to explain what I'm trying to talk about, and I think I've done a good job. So God bless you. I will talk to you again real soon with more. I promise.